Well, greetings, CDOBC family. Welcome to our weekly Connect video. I'm Pastor Sam, our church plant pastor, and I'm glad to have you joining us online this week. Let me share with you a few important updates, things that are going on in the life of our church family. And the first is our VBS prayer board. So if you join us in person on Sundays, you'll notice that in the lobby we have a VBS prayer board. We want to cover our VBS, cover our volunteers, and cover our kids in prayer. Ask that God would bless greatly our VBS this summer. So stop by, take a prayer request, and join the prayer team. Also, on June 15th, which is Father's Day, we have a child dedication. If you're interested in dedicating your child, I want to invite you to contact our church office. Check out the link below. You'll find all the information that you need. It would be a beautiful thing to be able to celebrate with your church family the opportunity to dedicate your child to the Lord. Well, welcome to this week's episode of Theology Bites. We are on part 3 of our study of angels. And this week, we're going to take a closer look at Satan and the fallen angels. The fall of the angels refers to the choice of certain angels to disobey God, and it led to their expulsion from heaven. The most well-known of these fallen angels, oftentimes referred to the leader of the fallen angels, is Satan or the devil. So let's begin this morning by taking a look at what we call the fall of the angels or the rebellion of the angels. First, we see that Satan and fallen angels were originally created good, but rebelled and sinned against God. If we look at Revelation 12, verse 4, it would seem to suggest that about a third of the angels fell. Let's take a look at some of the Bible texts that refer to the fall of Satan and the angels. 2 Peter 2:4 says, God did not spare the angels who sinned, but cast them down to hell and delivered them into chains of darkness. Jude 1:6 says, the angels who did not stay within their own position of authority, but left their proper dwelling, he has kept in eternal chains. Luke 10, verse 18, this is Jesus speaking. The 72 who he had sent out had just returned, and Jesus says, and he said to them, I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. Now, the immediate context of this statement by Jesus is the fact that the 72 had just returned, and they exclaimed that even the demons are subject to us. And so we see that Satan's defeat is certain, and we see that his disciples have been given authority over the demons. In Revelation 12, 7 and 9, it says, now war arose in heaven, Michael and his angels fighting against the dragon. The great dragon was thrown down, that ancient serpent who is called the devil and Satan, the deceiver of the whole world. He was thrown down to earth, and his angels were thrown down with him. In Revelation there, we see a direct reference to Satan's expulsion from heaven, accompanied by the other rebellious angels. We also have two passages from the Old Testament that are often interpreted to also apply to Satan and the fallen angels. These passages come from Isaiah and Ezekiel. And the first is from Isaiah 14, verses 12 to 15. And it says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? That was a little KJV insert in there. You see that the passage is directly referring to the king of Babylon, actually. But it's been often interpreted to specifically also apply to Satan. We see this kind of pride that Satan has. Verse 14 says, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. And so we see the pride of wanting to be like God. In Ezekiel 28, 12 to 17, we have something similar. It says, you are the signet of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You were blameless in your ways till unrighteousness was found in you. Now, this is in context a lamentation for the king of Tyre, but it's often linked to Satan and his fall in the Christian tradition. We see the ideas, again, of perfection, of pride, of the idea of being cast down. And we believe that these passages, yes, they first and foremost in the context refer to the king of Babylon and the king of Tyre, but it's often been interpreted to also apply to what happened with Satan and the fallen angels. Let's take a look at Satan and some of his names. The first, obviously, is Satan. It means adversary. The second is the devil, which means slanderer. And if you're following along, the references are on the screen there for you. Lucifer means morning star or light bearer. The dragon, the serpent, we see that in Genesis, we see that in Revelation. Beelzebub or Beelzebul means Lord of the Flies. That's in Matthew 12 and Mark 3. The evil one, Mark 13, 1 John 5. The tempter. The prince of the power of the air. That comes from Ephesians 2, verse 2. The god of this world. That comes from 2 Corinthians 4:4. The accuser, Revelation 12:10. And the father of lies. That's John 8:44. So the names of Satan give us insight into the activity of Satan and his demons, but let's just review some of the activities that we see in the scriptures. Deception, we see that in Genesis 3. We see that from John 8:44. We also see that the way that Satan and his demons work, that they can delay a response to prayer. We see that in the story of Daniel, fascinating account of kind of what happens in the unseen realms where flesh and blood aren't able to see demons, but we see very specifically how demons are delaying a response to Daniel's prayer. We mentioned already, but the idea of demon possession, we see this all over the Gospels. We see it also in Acts with Paul. We see that demons can possess people. They oppose God's people. We see that from Ephesians 6. The temptation of believers, we see that in Ephesians 6 and 1 Peter 5. In 1 Timothy, we see that they promote false doctrine. 2 Corinthians 4:4, we see that they oppose the gospel or maybe the spread of the gospel. In Revelation 12, we see the angels and Satan make accusations against the believers. Now, that is not comprehensive, but that gives you an idea of the different ways that Satan and his angels are working. Now, the most important section that I think we'll cover today is the last section, and that is not about Satan and his angels, but it's about God's sovereignty over Satan and his angels, or Satan and demons. We want to be reminded that God created angels. Fallen angels are created beings. They are finite. They're not omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent like God. Like all created things, they are sustained and upheld by God. It's important to remember that Satan and his demons are limited in power, and they are under God's sovereign control. Satan operates under God's sovereign permission. We see that in Job 1 and 2. Where Satan asked for permission to be even able to tempt or to accuse Job. And lastly, when we think of Jesus and demon possession, Jesus frequently encounters and delivers people from demon possession. We see that Paul also had the same authority, and we see that disciples had the authority. In Colossians, we are reminded that Satan has been decisively defeated. So Christ has defeated the demonic powers, and he has triumphed over them. How did he do that? Well, he did that in the cross. We want to remind ourselves that believers can resist the devil, and we also can give the devil a foothold. And the choice is up to us. That's why we're to put on the full armor of God. Lastly, the final destiny of Satan and his demons, or the fallen angels. In Matthew 25:41, also in Revelation 20:10, we see that Satan and his angels will be judged and thrown into the lake of fire. Reading Matthew 25:41, it says, "Then he will also say to those on his left, 'Depart from me, accursed ones, into the eternal fire which has been prepared for the devil and his angels.'" When we talk about the lake of fire, it has been prepared for Satan, his angels. We're told that even death and Hades will be thrown into the lake of fire, and those whose names were not found in the book of life. It's important to remember the final destiny of Satan and his angels is completely under God's control, and one day they will be thrown into the lake of fire. In the end, God wins and Jesus triumphs. Well, let me thank you for joining us this week on our Theology Bites. Hope to see you this Sunday, either in person or online for our weekly services. And I want to invite you to have a blessed week.